Hey there, this is Kenny from Sun Bear Specialty Coffee Roasters. A couple weeks back I purchased a Rancilio Silvia. It's been kind of a work in progress as far as me trying to figure out how to operate this thing at home. I'm planning on using it kind of as I sell coffee in the future, so I figure it's like a good in-between machine to get me to the next level in espresso making. So far it's been a blast, but I have had some challenges on the way and I want to share some of those with you today. This machine is a Baratza Sette 270. I love this machine. I was so excited when I found it used on Facebook Marketplace, and I purchased it for $150, which is, if you know anything about this machine, it's that is a steal. What I did not know when I purchased it, that had a couple bit of problems with it that I found out once I got it. So the first problem that this thing had was that this is the burr set for the conical burr in the Baratza Encore. If you just turn this thing all the way clockwise, the burr will just kind of drop. And if you have any beans set in there, they'll kind of fall out. But at the moment, I don't really have a lot in there. Mine's kind of clean. This is a new burr setup. That's the whole story basically, is when I bought this thing, inside of here, there was this screw that was missing. It would still grind coffee, so I thought it was working fine, but it turns out that it wasn't. And so I ordered the screw, got the screw in, and then it would grind what I thought was normal, but it didn't seem to get fine enough for espresso. It was, however, enough to pull off my Flare Neo, but not enough for once the Rancilio came in. So once the Rancilio came in, I quickly realized that my grinder was not doing a good enough job, and I was going to have to do something about that. So I contacted Baratza. Their customer service was really helpful. Even though I didn't purchase the grinder from them directly, they just had me send some pictures to them, and then they quickly realized that I had the wrong burr set. And so they sent me, I believe it's burr set A or something like that, that's specifically for espresso. The second part of it is that underneath here, there is something else, which is that it has two shims. The two shims help you get it even finer espresso, and so that's what I was chasing after, and today you'll get to see how it's all kind of worked out. What I want to do is kind of walk you through the process of the Rancilio Silvia. Like I said, I had this machine last week and I started working on it, and then I quickly realized I was doing everything wrong. And the second part was that most of that was related to my espresso grinder not grinding fine enough for espresso. So as you can hear, we're heating up over here. What they recommend is around 20 to 30 minutes of the Rancilio being set up, heating with the portafilter in place. Mine is still not quite hot yet, so I'm gonna turn the video off, come back to you once the portafilter has warmed up. And there's a couple different ways you can do this once the machine is, if you see the green light, means that it's a go now. To get things to kind of speed up, you can use this and spit out steam, which I have not gotten good at. I'm just going to admit that to you. I am not a milk person by nature, and so this has not been my highest priority. I will get around to it, and hopefully you'll get to walk through that video with me as well, but that's not going to be today. But what we can do is, in the meantime, just kind of start letting some water out, and that's going to get this to a temperature where hopefully this goes back orange again. About 2 ounces is what they recommend. That's going to kind of get the heat at a level that's good for espresso. Instead of the steam wand, I'm going to use the wand, but I'm going to use it just to shoot water out. If you can see, it's a very fine. This does get hot, very hot. One thing the Rancilio Silvia is known for, you see that orange light's gone back on, is the extreme amount of pressure that comes out of this, which is kind of amazing. So now this is where I want it to be. I'm going to dump this water out, and we're going to wait for this to go green again. And while that happens, I'm going to go ahead and prepare my shot. So the next thing I'm going to do is take my portafilter out. You can see it's got a little bit of water in there. I'll dump that out. I have roasted up some decaf coffee that I'm going to weigh out on my Akai scale. I'm going to weigh it out. I have it set with a timer. And I'm going to go for about 14 grams. I still do not have this basket can hold about 14 to 16 grams. I'm waiting on an actual 18 gram kind of competitive level basket to come in the mail. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be kind of the next. You never stop learning with this stuff. That's what I've figured out. It's always something. And so I'm going to pour that into my Baratza. I'm going to put this guy down here. Cool thing about this is I can brew, or I can actually grind straight into my basket, my portafilter, which is great. I'm going to do it in sections though. I'm going to kind of do that and level it out a little bit in between. And then just making sure that it kind of is getting distributed while I'm setting it up. Just going to help me a little less work that I have to do later. Okay, and that should be about 14 grams, dead on. I'm going to use this just to kind of distribute because I don't have one of those fancy distributors, but I do want to make sure that my puck is going to be solid and evenly distributed. So it's looking kind of clean. I've got all that lined up. There's not a lot on the edges. I'm going to go ahead and tamp down. This is a 58 millimeter tamp that comes with the Rancilio Silvia. Everything is super sturdy with this thing. I just can't believe how amazingly well crafted it is. As you can see, that's what it's supposed to look like. At least I think. This is much better than what I had before. It just was not pressing. I would see little white specks indicating to me that I was probably not on there. So now I'm going to go ahead and put this in. As you can see, that's kind of there. What you can do before you even put your basket in place maybe is just shoot just a little bit more water there and wait for the steam to kind of disappear. At that point, you're ready to go with your shot. So put that in the group head. I'll go ahead and put my shot in place. I'm going to weigh this out. It's kind of a tight fit for I'm going to zero out my scale. I just want to make sure I'm timing this. And so I'm going to go ahead and start that. And we're going to count my shot. I'm also going to be watching for how many grams are pouring into my into the shot glass. My goal is somewhere around 30 grams for 14 grams in. And so 29, 30, I'm going to go ahead and stop that. I'm 22 seconds in right now. So that's not quite where I want it to be. From what I've heard, you really want it to be around 30 seconds, but has crema. I'm going to go ahead and taste. This is a decaf blend that I got from Sweet Maria's. Not even sure all the origins that it comes from. It just says donkey blend. Okay, that is not too tart. It has just a little bit, and I think that's just because it did go through a little faster than I wanted it to, but still not bad. It did about 22 seconds, like I said, and ideally I will want 30 seconds from that. This is really starting to get into some beautiful shots. This one has crema on it. It has body and fullness. It's sweet, but it also has a tint of acidity to it. And like I said, that could just be due to the fact that it did kind of pour through faster than I wanted it to, but you know what? We're not quite there. Since we're trying new stuff, I'll do oat milk today. One thing I'm realizing by selling coffee at markets and stuff like that is that a lot of people are preferring alternative milk now. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill that about halfway in my 12-ounce pitcher here. Put that over here. We're going to heat up the steam. Once this goes, so it's orange right now, it's heating up my steam one, and that's coming from a different spot. So the way this works is they call it temperature surfing. So as I do this milk, it's gonna get super hot for the sake of the milk, for making steamy, frothy milk. But after that, you don't want to brew your coffee at that same level or it's gonna taste burned, it's gonna taste not good. So you're supposed to wait for it to die back down and the temperature come back down to a normal level. Since this does not have a PID installed yet, I'm sure I will be doing that because I'm a gearhead. Yeah, that's going to probably happen next. But for the moment being, I'm still figuring out the temperature surfing thing. It's not that bad. I feel like it's okay. And it gives you a kind of time frame in mind that you figure out how to do things in. But yeah. So as soon as this guy goes green, only, we'll go ahead and steam our milk. Okay, out. I'm going to pour my shot in, and then I've seen a couple different theories on this, but I'm just gonna pour angled at first, and then from there you're supposed to, again, I don't know what this is supposed to look like at all. It doesn't have a lot of head on it, obviously, for milk, but who knows, you know? Let's taste it. I didn't pour a lot in there, so that's actually not too terrible to me. It tastes better than last time I did half and half, and it tasted too milky to me. Anyway, that's it for today. Hope you guys have a great day, and thank you for checking us out at Sun Bear.